to find your spouse, you don't pursue the perfect girl, or you don't pursue the perfect guy, but you pursue the Lord. And that to find the one that who is going to help you in your pursuit of Christ, you pursue the Lord, and as you're in pursuit, you turn around, you turn to your left and your right, and you look and you see who's running with you towards the Lord. And I think there's a lot of similarities to that with friendships as well. So I think it's not necessarily that you have to, go and look for the good friendships, to go look for the good guys and girls who can be your stronghold, to be your shelters as you're journeying in your faith, but more so that you're pursuing the Lord. And in the process of pursuing the Lord, it's just going to happen. It's inevitable.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Abraham Salas Show. I don't know what a number is. Do you, Dan? Do you know a number? I'm
No, I
making
don't know.
up for it.
I don't
I'm
understand
making
it
up for
sometimes.
it. Oh my gosh. Anyways, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in this Monday. Whenever you're watching or listening to this, thank you for tuning in. Um, Before we get started and I introduce my awesome special guests, I just want to remind you about a few things. One, if you are enjoying this podcast, if you're enjoying the videos and you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to follow the podcast so whatever platform you're listening to or watching us on is forced to let you know when we post. But yeah, today I have with me amazing guy. He's an amazing musician, amazing friend, Dan Lewis. He is, I mean, he's one of my best friends. We talk, I mean, almost every day, right? Right, Dan? Is it almost every day?
Yeah, about
About?
every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so he just and I'm gonna promo his stuff. Like he does not do it for himself, so I'm gonna do it for him. He had an EP come out called "For You Alone" and it's available on Spotify. Where else is it available, Dan?
Wherever else you listen to music.
Yeah,
So Apple
anywhere you
Music,
listen to music. Yeah, it's called
Amazon.
"For You Alone." It's under his birth name, Annsbert, right? So you can go look up Annsbert, Annsbert, and as usual, I'll link everything in the description and all that. But go check it out. Great music. He's a great musician. Great dude. Okay, so we'll just dive in today's topic. We're gonna be talking about a number of things. Mainly, we're gonna be talking about community, and we come from the viewpoint of men, so we'll be hitting up on brotherhood a lot today. Dan, how? Well, I don't know. We can just start with how long have you and I been friends? I don't. It's been a few years, but I'm not sure of the number. Do you know?
I would say I think I really met you for the first time during the middle school day camp retreat. I don't know how long ago that was. That was maybe,
Man, we were both in high school.
yeah,
Wow.
probably like my freshman year of high school, or so your sophomore year, something like that.
Probably. I think it
Yeah.
was the summer going into the next year.
Yeah, I just remember I didn't feel old enough to be leading a middle school retreat, so I'm pretty sure I was just like a freshman or something. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think we any of us felt old enough. But yeah, this was when we were in high school youth group and all that. Yeah, we I guess started a friendship then, and I think it really grew post high school and into college.
It really did. It really did. I think we had some we had some interactions here and there, and it kind of grew over like the premise of like jokes and humor over the course of high school. But then I think we ran into each other again um, my freshman year of high school. So I think I ran into you at Houston Community College, and
Oh, so of college
yeah,
of that's when we ran into each other again. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I remember that.
and then it just kind of
'Cause
picked up from there.
yeah, that was because I think we had like texted a few times about like doing music together or something like
Hmm.
that, and that
Yeah.
like that drew the friendship. We did
Hmm.
like a couple retreats here and there with each other, which forced us to like get to know each other even more. And then I think what really grew us as brothers was Um, we did that, right? Which the all the music stuff, which was huge for our brotherhood, I think, at the time. And then we both did Exodus 90 and with different fraternities at the time, and then we ended up doing it together
Mm-hmm.
with our buddies James Carrasco and Matt Buntello, which I think was huge for us.
For
I
sure.
mean, at
For
least
sure.
for me,
Yeah.
that like grew me as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Just being around y'all as a community, is a like this small group of four of us. I don't know
Yeah.
what was that like for you?
Well, so like you said, I think specifically like in our context, I think the friendship in itself was kind of already there, and it was like we had a good sense of encouragement in a spiritual way, and before we even did Exodus. So I think this was specifically maybe like a couple months before Exodus. We had done a retreat together, the 3-day retreat, and during that experience, I think we kind of like really bonded in a spiritual sense, and we came to this realization that we had similar goals, like similar goals to grow as men, to grow as good Catholics. And I think it was during that premise that we decided like eat like I think I'm not sure if we exactly were in like the ballpark of Exodus 90 at the time, but we were definitely wanting to do something for sure together at that point. And then
Yeah.
I think Exodus 90 came about actually in a time of weakness. Like I think I like randomly called you, and I was like, bro, like I need help right now. Like I need you to pray for me. And you were like, bro, I need you to pray for me too. And we were like, I think Exodus was like maybe like the starting date was like a week or two after that. So we were like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like let's get stuff together.
Yeah, then we called James and James called Matt, and yeah, that was huge because it was like, I mean, we'd both done Exodus for the first time, and oh my god, Exodus 90 is getting so much promo right now. But shout out to them. I mean, they great program for men for the first time earlier that year, that same
Hmm.
year. It was last year,
Hmm.
earlier last year at the beginning of the year, and then it was like we got drawn together because it was like, wow, we're still both sucking. We need to do this again. So let's go do
Yeah.
this extreme
Yeah.
fasting, asceticism, prayer, and all that. I mean, so yeah, that's how we really like. That's how long we've been friends, and like the progression, the quick progression of our friendship. But like, Dan, how important do you think community is,
Oh,
and
it's
like,
very important.
yeah, to our spiritual walk, right?
For sure, for sure. I think to a certain extent, like, it's scripture says it is not good for man to be alone, and he obviously that's said in the context of marriage, but I think it still applies towards the fraternal aspect, like to the brotherhood aspect. And I think that realization really took a long time to come together, because I think as someone who kept a minimum amount of friendships throughout like high school and even into college, I think I used to keep my personal life personal. Like I never really shared it. I used to have maybe friendships based on more superficial elements, and then I think my spiritual life just on my own was very much of a struggle to continue just like on my own strength, on my own will, on my own motivation. And the whole aspect of having you guys especially, and even just a community that's based around the faith, because I think we have different circles of friendships at different times, at or even simultaneously. Like you have the friendships of school, you have the friendships from maybe even church, you have certain friendships that you get from clubs or groups or bands or whatever. And I think having a spiritual friendship uh, out of all of these friendships is just as important, just because at the end of the day, um, if you don't have someone to kind of be accountable for you in a sense, to um are you keeping up with your faith, are you struggling right now? Because I think to a certain extent, especially, like, I don't know about, I can't speak for everyone, but personally I feel like I'm the type of person who, the minute that I start to fall into sin, or the minute that I start to fall into weakness, I start to like cave into myself. Like I start isolating myself from other people because uh like I'm it's like a subconscious element of shame. And in general, like I don't want to expose like this non-perfect version of myself to the world. And I think in those moments when a brother or a good friend, I think, like is, invasive enough to be like, where are you right now, can I pray for you, can I be there for you, that is such a huge pick me up. I think there are certain times when, Abraham, you have called me and I've just been so irritated. I'm like, damn, bro, like, why are you calling me? You call me so much, but then like I do like a check and I'm like, I'm upset about it because, like there's a part of me that's like trying to stay within sin or stay within the separation.
Yeah.
And then the minute that like I come to that acceptance, it's just a moment of gratefulness. I'm like, oh, thank you, God. Like, thank you for putting Abraham in my life. Thank you for putting these brothers in my life. And it really does mean a lot. Like I don't think about it all the time, obviously, but like I think at the end of the day, like I can credit a lot of the reason that I'm still afloat, or that I still have a relationship with Christ, in the fact that I have sort of an accountability with you guys. So
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to, I think, and I'll piggyback back off of what you have been saying of having other Catholic friends
mm,
and
mhm,
other Catholic friends that are guys,
mhm,
and not even just guys, like the spiritual women that we have in our lives too,
mhm,
because there's some great women in our lives. I could probably name a few off the top of my head, but having that community with with each other, because it's like, yes, man's not supposed to be alone. Okay, so how, where else do we see that, right? Jesus in the Gospels,
mhm,
right? He's sending out disciples to go preach. He's sending them off in twos and pairs,
mhm,
because we're not supposed to be alone. We're supposed to be in community and in a relationship. And I find that when I'm hanging out
mhm,
with my friends who also have the same goal of getting to heaven more,
mhm,
there is a change in me.
mhm,
Um, and I really think that it's noticeable
mhm,
with my family, with how I'm treating others, with my work ethic.
mhm,
At the same time, the more I talk to you or James or whoever, I don't know, there's just this, it's different. My life feels different
mhm.
when it comes to friendships. And that's not to say, too, that we shouldn't have friendships that are outside of the church as well.
For sure, yeah.
Because, I mean, we're supposed to, one, evangelize, two, don't be friends with someone just to evangelize them, right? But, like, love other people. That's what we're called to do, not just
Mhm,
be isolated with each other.
mhm.
Because we're supposed to go out as well and just be there. I don't know. I feel like that's what our Lord would do, and go. He'd be very concerned with the person
Mm,
and knowing them and loving them. I think that's a huge thing that we've found too, and I found with not just you guys, but like a lot of my mentors, like Will Hickle, Eric Wilkes, Matt Lewis, those guys. For me, at least, they've just sat there and been like, "Who are you? How are
mm,
you?
mm,
Like, what's your life like right now?"
mm,
And that's huge.
mhm.
I think there's just a difference there.
It really is, yeah. There's a certain like aspect of just having people in general that are like going the same, or having the same um conviction of, Christ before everything else, that really drives you to become like the person that you are. And I think, I think you can see that in culture everywhere at this point. It's just like the people that you surround yourself with are usually the type of people that you try to become like. And I think definitely when, you're able to surround yourself with the strong Catholics, or even the strong people of their faith, or the people who are at least pursuit in the pursuit, because none of us are perfect, but we are
Yeah.
called to strive. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah, so I think for sure having that group who are striving will help you to become the better version of yourself, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like I that saying, "You are who you hang out with," has been like I've heard that so many times in my head. I mean, in my life.
Yeah,
That's not even funny.
yeah.
I used to have a football coach in high school say like, if you hang out with a bunch of knuckleheads, if you hang out with four knuckleheads, I guarantee you, you're the fifth knucklehead.
Mm. Yeah.
It's annoying to hear,
Mm.
and I'm sure high school kids hear it a lot,
Hmm.
but there's truth to it.
Hmm. Yeah.
It just is because I found myself, and I've said this in a couple of episodes now about the Novum Records writing retreat. I found when I was there
Mm.
with, I mean, all these different Catholic worship leaders that like just like I said, a change and a
Mm.
new drive
Hmm.
and wanting to worship more, wanting to pray more, not that those desires aren't already there,
Mm.
but it's just like they're enhanced
Hmm.
and they grow, and it's just something beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, being with other people in intimate community.
I think for everyone in general, it's good to have a good set of friends. I think, I mean, like you said earlier, it doesn't mean cut off your other friends that don't necessarily have the same goals, or it's great to have those friends. And I think in a certain sense that it's great to kind of, because I mean, when you stick to one certain group of people, or you even stick to maybe outside of the context of friendship, like to a certain like cultural construct, or when you even stick to one mindset, you kind of get closed off to what the rest of the world looks like. So I think definitely you need to be able to mesh with everything, mesh with everyone, and but at the same time being able to come back to this, like maybe a closer group of like girls, or closer group of guys that are like more so like kind of there to refresh you in a sense, because as much as you give, you need to receive. So even if you are going out to evangelize, and you're going out to do a sort of ministry, you definitely need a place to come back and to rejuvenate yourself. So I think that's found within the church, within our sacraments, but also definitely through the fellowships that we experience. So yeah, it's definitely an important part. I think when you don't have the fellowship, you start to fall away from the faith and from the church a lot quicker than if you do.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
Hmm.
sure. That I think is a huge correlation when it comes to staying in the faith, staying in the church, and not. Another thing I have on my mind and on my heart right now, um, man, I just lost it. Oh my gosh, where'd it go? Let's find it.
Saint Anthony.
Saint Anthony. Coming clutch, Saint Anthony. Oh, yeah, I found it. I found my thought. My thought has been found. So in my case, right, I'm someone who's probably desired strong Catholic community. I'm talking like I'm an extrovert. I want to be around a bunch of people and whatever. I want that huge group of Catholic friends
Mm.
to hang out with
Mm.
all
Hmm.
the time. Or if they're out of town, whenever they come in town, we're gonna meet up every time they come in town. We're gonna hang out, whatever. And I'm someone who rushes into everything at the same time and so extroverted to the point to where like, hi, I'm Abraham. Here's my life story. What's yours? Like,
Mm.
I will spill everything out and want it in return for me
Hmm.
with our friendship.
Mm.
We talked about the progression of it, and we started our friendship 4.5, 5 years ago
Mm.
at youth group, and that grew and to where, I mean, over. probably another 3 years,
Mhm.
3.5, 4 years, whatever it was.
Mhm.
But my point is that it took time for us to have the brotherhood
Mhm.
that we currently have,
Yeah.
right? And I'm someone who's who's such an extrovert that I'm just like so excited to meet people
Mm.
that I don't know. No one's ever told me this, but maybe it can like scare someone off who's like an introvert or something
Mhm.
like that. It's just I
Mhm.
was just like, hi, do you want to come over? Do you want to come do? But no, it's just like, hold
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
let's calm down,
Yeah.
buddy. Let's take time. Let's get to know this person, and
Right.
it's
Right.
gonna take years to get that community
For sure. Mhm.
for me at least that I want and that other people may want as well because someone who's an introvert, Dan, you're more introverted than I am, so correct me if I'm wrong, might just like, I mean, you even said it earlier, actually, like just is okay
Mhm.
or may not be okay with the the one or two, three
Mhm.
friendships and be cool. Like these are the people I talk to
Mhm.
once once a
Mhm.
month, once a full moon, and I'm good. but but again, it takes time
Mhm.
to develop those friendships. I mean, I don't know. I probably came on strong when we first met, all the way back in high school. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Did I?
you
I'm gonna put
broke
you on the spot.
you
Did I,
broke the
Dan?
ice pretty quickly. I mean, I think we bonded over music. I think first off, we bonded over music quickly.
Yeah.
But I think just in general, kind of having someone as enthusiastic about music and also being involved in the faith and everything was just in general was like an attractive way of like, oh wow, you're a cool guy, like. And I think over time there was a sense of like, like, oh, we have a lot of cultural similarities, and that's kind of also where another bond grew.
It could be different too,
Hmm.
for because our friendship took years to get to where it is,
It did,
right?
yeah.
And different friendships are going to develop differently over time. Whatever, you
Right.
may grow apart, you may grow closer, right? But I had a friend in high school, my best buddy from high school, Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
and literally he's super extroverted like I am. I mean, it was literally like, hi, hi, you want to be friends? You want to come over this
Hmm.
weekend? Yeah, sure, cool. That was it. And saw each other every day, talked just about every day. After that, but again, that's different. It's gonna be different for everyone. No one's probably gonna have the exact same experience that we had or that me and Ryan had.
Yeah.
I mean, people might have similar ones, whatever, but it doesn't mean that this is like the roadmap for like how you get community in the Catholic world. No, it's gonna be different for everyone. And but the point is, I think, to seek
Hmm.
out that community and be open to it.
Yeah. I guess just in talking about the sort of brotherhood that I have with certain people, or even the type of friendships that I have where there's a certain comfortability to even kind of even like share about like our strengths and our victories, and also of our struggles, like, oh man, like pray for me, or even celebrate with me for I have overcome this struggle, or even in the sense like keeping me accountable, like, have you been to confession recently or something like that. Like, I think there's a certain sense that a sense of like freedom and almost a different aspect of love that I'm able to have with a couple of my friends. And when I'm asked, like I feel like there are certain people who see that and they desire it, and they're just like, where do you get these friends? And I feel like it looks as if like, I'm like the first person to find out, what a grocery store is, and and I'm balling with my eggs and my milk, and like everyone else is still trying to figure out, where do we get our groceries from. And that's not at all what the situation is. Like, I think my journey finding these friends is very much like that of finding a spouse, is in a sense, like I've heard many Catholic speakers say that, that to find in like the concept or sorry in the context of dating, like to find your spouse, you don't pursue the perfect girl, or you don't pursue the perfect guy, but you pursue the Lord. And that to find the one that who is going to help you in your pursuit of Christ, you pursue the Lord, and as you're in pursuit, you turn around, you turn to your left and your right, and you look and you see who's running with you towards the Lord. And I think there's a lot of similarities to that with friendships as well. So I think it's not necessarily that you have to, go and look for the good friendships, to go look for the good guys and girls who can be your, your stronghold, to be your shelters as you're journeying in your faith, but more so that you're pursuing the Lord. And in the process of pursuing the Lord, it's just gonna happen. It's inevitable. I think the Lord puts these people in your life specifically, like he knows that, like, when you're in pursuit, he's going to help you along the way. Like, even in our context, like, I don't think it was an accident. Like, we even met each other in a process of pursuit. Like, I think I just mentioned before, but like, I wasn't exactly sure what I was pursuing at the time, but a part of me was still there for to be ministered to. Like, we were volunteers at the retreat, I think, that we met at, and even the retreats that we ended up ministering to later on down the aisle, like, that we were the ministers. But I think to a certain extent, just being together, being in the pursuit towards Christ together, we were also being ministered to during those retreats, during those events. And I think just when you're in that pursuit, you will be granted those friends, you will be granted all the graces that come in the pursuit.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest so much to the fact that we were being ministered to, and that was through each other and the other people serving on the really big one, that we did with a full band. You know which one I'm talking about.
Hmm.
And we didn't know it at the time that we're ministering to all these high school teenagers,
Hmm.
but like at the same time we're ministering to each other, but we're like getting fed off of each other too. I mean, we had a band of five Catholic dudes, and we were all just hanging out and laughing, and like I mean, it was like comic relief. It
Hmm.
was we're having fun making music together. There's a bunch of stressors around us. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not sure that any of us did any of the activities outside, but I mean, we still had we we had a great time
Yeah.
with each other. And it's like you said, you run after the Lord,
Hmm.
and you're open, and having
Hmm.
the openness to community, I think, is another thing to keep in mind. But
Hmm.
just, I mean, running to the Lord with open arms and being open to whatever he has for you, and
Hmm.
then whoever's on your left and your right and around you, running towards him. That's who it is. But and
Yeah.
he's so
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah. When you when you meet like a new friend that like is in a complete different context than you are, and then you like meet all of their friends. Like, I think that's kind of like, for example, in our context, that would be like, I just recently moved to your school, so I just recently moved to Abraham school, and a lot of the friends that Abraham has had, like, are starting to become my friends just through this association. And I think in the same way, I think when we become like true friends with Christ, in a sense, you start to get to know the friends that Christ is putting there with you
Oh,
along the way. So
wow, that's nuts.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow,
You're
beautiful.
you're you're my friend through Jesus, my man.
Wow, no, it's literally like Jesus introduced us to each other. Like, how do you know each
Yeah,
other? Well, Christ, our
right,
risen Lord. Wow, that's nuts.
right.
Okay, we'll cut it off here for this segment. Thank you
Sure.
so much, everybody, for tuning in, for watching wherever you're listening or viewing this, if it's on YouTube or whatever. Like I said before, if you want to see more, if you want to be notified when I'm posting, things like that, go ahead and hit the follow button or the subscribe button with the little bell if you're on YouTube, to find all of that out. Um, and also, if you want to be a part of the community that I'm building here, if you want to help financially support me and my ministries, you can go to patreon.com/the Abraham Salas to go find ways to support there. You'll get special behind the scenes footage. You'll get special worship nights. You'll there's so many things that are being offered for y'all. So be sure go check that out. And also, very much be sure to check out Dan's EP, For You Alone. It's beautiful, great music. I mean, he's a great musician. He did it independently. Um, just he definitely glorifies the Lord with his art and anything else that he puts out. So yeah, and for those of you on Patreon, we're actually going to switch over to the Patreon video right now. So go and be looking out for that on Patreon. And again, if you want to be able to view that video, go and check out patreon.com/the Abraham Salas. See y'all soon.